Greetings. Bob and I are lucky podcasters. That's a new term that both of us are getting used to, but that's what we're doing. And here today, we're filming our sixth one. It's hard to believe because we really just got this going. But one thing that we're discovering is, and Bob just used this term, and actually very appropriate, that we're discovering the fabric of this community. And it's interesting because of our 6 interviews, including the one today, 3 of them are with a gentleman named Tom. So it sort of reminded me of hockey. I'm a hockey guy, and if you think of the name Connor, you think of exceptional. And that's what we've got here today is yet another Tom. Not indicating that the others aren't exceptional. Maybe the middle name's Tom. There must be. But here we go with another Tom today. One of the Toms the other day talked about dreaming about building the Alberta Valley Multiplex. And I was thinking about it, doing some math, and I wouldn't be surprised if the doors open there 250,000 times per year simply because of that dream. And another Tom, talked about farming and his business today. Been in business for decades. If you ever have bacon or sausages, well, that's Tom. And so without further ado, I'm going to get this going here. I must say that I've met this Tom. Bob's going to more formally introduce him, but Tom is a wonderful guy. A good friend of mine who sadly passed away about 1.5 years ago called Tom one of his very best friends, and I think we're going to see why. So Bob, over to you.
Oh, well, it's absolutely fantastic to be here with Tom Watts. I've known Tom, I don't know, might be more than 60 years, maybe more than that. Tom's a youngster here. You're about, how old right now?
We've got to be 91.
91.
Oh,
Peter was. And he doesn't have this gray hair that I have, and that's because of his great diet. Tom is an icon, and I don't use the word lightly. Always setting an example has just been fantastic in every aspect of everything he did. And we'll get farther into it, but he was a sports hero in many capacities. I remember some diving, and then of course his ball and everything else. But I'll let him tell you a little more about what he done for the last 90 years. Go ahead. So to start at the beginning,
Who's Tom Watts?
Yeah.
Who's Tom Watts?
Yeah.
What have you done?
For the last 10 years?
90 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
I've been happy and enjoying my whole life for the last 90 years. I remember when I was about 6 years old, I used to go fishing at the paper mill dam with a community. And one day I went up there in the evening and I seen the stars and everything else. And then I looked up and I said, boy, I want to be the best athlete in Canada. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to train. So I trained all the time ever since then. And I never told nobody that I wanted to be the best. But I didn't do what my other teammates did. Like they like to go parties after the wins and everything else. But I went and practiced and the people I was always helpful to, practice with me. And it was, I have had a really, really good life, but I've never thought negative. I always thought positive. If I lost a game, it was for a reason, I think I must have made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah.
So but it's my life. I had so many trophies like one time. And trophies didn't mean anything to me because it was just another piece of wood, or there were totem poles and stuff like that.
So what all, and more than one sport, what all sports have you been involved in over the years?
I played it didn't matter what sport there was, I'd be doing it.
Basketball, I know.
Basketball, softball,
yeah.
Soccer.
Yeah.
And I practiced down this the athletical. Sweeney used to let me go in there and practice
In the hall.
all the time. Then I'd go down to the punching bag and so to keep in shape, and I'd get a punching bag at my place too, so I could, take the ball away from other people.
So some of the awards, sports awards you've won, including, well, you can tell us.
Okay, I did become the athlete of the year in Canada. And it's
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Really?
yeah, so it was in 1964, I think it was. I was playing for the Alberta Athletics, and
Canadian champ.
it was something. But I used to think that I could. We used to play down in the States and everything else, but that was it was always trying to be the best all the time. If I wasn't the best, I'd go ask the people, well, you know, if there was somebody, like there was a guy, Ken Humperville he was a really good basketball player. And we were driving down Hastings Street one time at the P&E. He was coming one way and I was going the other. And we jumped out of the cars and hugged each other. And then we stopped all traffic. But, you know, I really enjoyed, you know, talking to him because he was a really good player. And that's the kind of people I like being around.
Yeah. And almost anything you've done, I think you were a longshoreman.
Yeah.
With a bunch of people I know, and quite a fisherman. I wouldn't want to count the number of fish Tom has caught in his lifetime, and it's a family tradition because you have many family members that still fish pretty seriously. Come home from important jobs elsewhere in the world to come home to fish when the fishing's open. You have a son that he may be almost retired by now as a pilot.
Yeah, he's retired. No,
Oh, really?
He was one of the first indigenous jet pilots for United Air.
Really? Yeah.
Flew big planes right up to, I think, pretty well to the 7.
Yeah, he was like, yeah.
And that was your son, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
And he was the youngest captain in the world.
youngest captain.
Really?
And and then went on to bigger and bigger planes.
The Dreamliner, he would drive in
Got all the way to the Dreamliner.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you ever fly with him?
yellow all the time.
Oh, you did, right? Yeah.
Tom's a bit of a world traveler too. I've always I don't envy a lot of people or whatever. I do admire a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I think I envied and admired it. He was traveling to Italy and
Around, and they were all free for freight trips.
Wow.
And then if I had to take another plane, I'd get 85% off.
But no, Tom's world traveled, world wise, and I think as wise a man as I know. But we're on the way here earlier. You said you met Tom, and you saw him in the hospital when you were with the other friend who's passed away. Yeah, that'd be John Douglas, our ex-mayor.
Yeah.
And that good friend of Bill's. You were in the hospital, and I remember at one point they said might be the end.
Yeah.
You were very close to death.
Yeah, and sure.
And tell me a little bit about that, the cause and the effect.
Okay,
the result.
like I was feeling sick, dizzy, and everything else, and I didn't know what was the matter with me. So I phoned this lady, and she took me to the hospital, and there's nothing wrong with him. So I went home, and I felt worse. And the next day, I went back to the hospital, and they said there's nothing wrong with you. And so anyway, he said, she said, the doctor wanted her to sign this paper, and she said, I'm not signing it because he's sick. He's got to stay here. So the next day I got worse. I went to Nanaimo. They said, there's nothing wrong with you. So the next day I went back to Fort Bernie, and then I was really sick. So they called the family together, and they said, there's only 10%. There's only 10% of the people that make it to Victoria in the helicopter. So I got to Victoria, and my son Wally came in from Tacoma. He said, "Where's my dad?" And he said, "Oh, it's an emergency." You ran there, and they took the life support off. They had life support everywhere, needle. So anyway, there was 2 doctors in there. The doctor said, he said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Your dad has died. He's got no heartbeat, no liver, no kidney. He's dead." He said, "No, he's not. He's the strongest man in Canada." And he said, "No." He said, And they started arguing. He said, we can't, we can't. He said, put it back on. He said, no, we can't. And then he started yelling at them and everything. Okay, it's your problem. You're going to have to look at him. When he comes to, he's going to be a vegetable. So anyway, they put it back on, and I was in a coma for 1 month. And yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
When I heard it, first of all, it was devastating, and then I thought he was going to pass or had passed. And then when I met him 6 months after, he says, that damn year we couldn't fish sockeye. I didn't have enough sockeye, and that's what made me ill. Look, seriously, yeah, seriously. And there's, and so I eat my sockeye once a week for sure. Ever since. Ever since.
Oh, gee.
Now,
What year was that, Tom? That wasn't
It
that
was
long.
about 20 years ago.
that was the years. I was like
19 years ago.
19. Always was that long. So when you saw him in the hospital, it was a different matter. But he
Well, I just remember John saying that you were fairly sick, but maybe he was talking about
talks about the past.
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was quite a while ago because I was trying to figure out what year we didn't fish sockeye, and that's about
Really?
2002, I think, or maybe 3, something like that. One of those years there was no sockeye fishing. Nobody was not even First Nations. And,
Wow.
and that because of and that run was decimated from the years of El Nino and the mackerel and all sorts of other problems. I forget, but maybe that was yeah. Well, we've been joined by granddaughter, Tom's granddaughter, Dakota Doerksen.
Yes.
And she's going to just add some flavor to the conversation. Talk a little about her granddad here and the past. But in our little break, while Dakota was joining us, we started talking about fishing. And Tom, like I said, quite the notable, not notorious, fisherman.
Pretty much.
Oh, notorious. Yeah, there you go. It has some other relatives there, and notorious too.
For different reasons.
For different reasons. Okay, so talk about fishing because I know.
Yeah. When I was young, I was about 8 or 9. The elders used to take me out to be chasing because I could throw the rocks. And we had lots of those little rocks, and I'd be throwing it. And my arm was really, really strong because we were throwing rocks all day. Anyway, it was, but when I was about, I guess, 12 years old, my mom bought me a canoe from Roy Taylor. And my uncle had we all had canoes in those days. My uncle had about 3 or 4 canoes. His name was Huey Watts, and my grandmother had 3 canoes, and Uncle Jigs had another Charlie. Well, he had a couple of canoes, and Walter had a bit. But anyway, I had to tie my little people down, and so one day the fisheries had was taking it away on the trailer, and my mom phoned him. What are you doing? He said, you took my son's canoe. He said, no, you're not allowed to fish. He said, well, he doesn't even own a net. He's only 12. It doesn't matter. He could go fishing. So anyway, the next day they took my brother's canoe and took that away. And they said the same thing. And then they took actually they take most of the canoes. They took Huey Watts's and my granny's canoes, and most of them, because it could be used for fishing. But I was one time we used to deliver papers. I don't know, I was really young then. We had 100 papers to deliver on River Road, my brother and I. So Marty Boiling and Danny Ross were out playing catch at Marty's place. And he said, can you throw the ball? I said, can you throw this one? I said, what is it? It's a baseball. I said, it's a ball. I only use the softball. Oh, throw me one. And I threw one, knocked his glove off. He said, can you come and play in our team? And then I played. Then I traveled around with him. But everywhere I went, people were complaining about me. Complained about me, striking everybody else. They had to stop the games lots of times.
Your arm was from throwing rocks.
And then
100 newspapers.
yeah.
You know, when you throw 100 newspapers, because in those days you threw them.
That's what you did?
Yeah, delivered onto the porch. You rolled them up tight and threw them.
Yeah.
Wow. So, no, Marty Boylan, there's a name that I remember from when I worked in the plywoods.
So did you get the canoe back?
No, they wouldn't give it. They
You couldn't give them back.
They took all our regalia away.
That covered.
Took our clothes and everything.
So where are these canoes now?
Oh, they just,
That's the big question.
yeah, they waited all locked on a compound.
My
So
dad,
they were held somewhere, right?
my dad had,
Some were taken to museums across
Oh.
Canada, right?
Were you?
Not these specific ones.
Yeah.
Ones that were done very nicely. So that
Yeah.
when they were taking all these other ones, well,
Yeah.
where did they all go? Where did all the things go?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
my dad had a box of regalia that they used to use. They used to use at the parades, yeah.
Dress up.
And they took that away too.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
cedar.
Yeah, well then, all the costumes, like they used to make the costumes out of seals and
Yes.
then they used the cedar barks.
Yeah, cedar
And
bark.
then they used to use bear skins to keep warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty sad. When I was many years later,
A long time ago.
when they used to run the jet boat up the river with the grappling hook to pull the nets out, and then they had the nets stored up at the fisheries, and when I was on 4th Avenue area in town, and I remember I knew somebody that worked at fisheries, and he says, "Hey, you want a net? We got a whole bunch. You know, I could just get a net. What do I want a net for? You know, but yeah, seriously, you know, we lived in a sad state.
Oh, we did.
Oh, yeah.
You know, how First Nations were
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's
treated. So, but Tom stayed above
Oh, yeah.
the fragments all his life. You know,
Yeah.
no question about it. You know, happened to be the top of the hill here. It kind of helps too, you know, a little bit. So, and I've come and visited Tom on occasion.
Yeah.
Got some fish from. He, by the way, donated salmon to our Pacific Salmon Foundation dinners, to other events we had over the years. Come and see him. How many do you need?
Yeah.
And that sort of stuff. And the other thing about it, and a lot of the shop members now treat their salmon so well. Like they treat them like they're like you revere them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Sturdy's and Marina were supposed to head straight home.
Yeah.
Well, and then I didn't. I had my motor broke down, and I had to tow the fish in my truck.
Yeah.
And they took the fish away.
Yeah.
Never gave it back. And
He had fisheries follow him. I remember one time one of the Suburbans, he pulls into the driveway with a boat and trailer on it. Fisheries is right behind him, follows him right into the driveway. He was a target, you know,
Wow.
target, but he did so well at fishing.
Yeah.
You know,
But one time I was fishing at the pulp mill, and I made a set and took it to shore, and the fisheries were there with the truck and the trailer and everything else. He said, "How many fish did you get?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "I said, I guess about 50." He said, "Well, no, you didn't. You got 83." I said, so he got his crew. They took all the fish out of my boat, and they were counting it. There was exactly 50.
So Tom, because I sat on fisheries committees as a rec rep for a long time, and we talked about net fishing. And Tom was telling me the big springs get tooth hung up. They hang their teeth up, and often and he got very frustrated with the method of fishing because it wasn't. And sometimes it's killing fish that it shouldn't kill, and he was a pioneer when it comes to looking after when they talked about fish recovery, releasing and recovering fish.
Yeah. Then you want to talk to Tom. Yeah.
So
One time they came to my place, like I used to smoke lots and lots of fish, and I'd sell it to the people on the boats there. And this one day, this young guy came over and he started talking about my history, and he said, "I'm from Saskatchewan and I need some fish I got people coming over." I said, I had about 8 or 10 totefuls of fish in the things I'm going to smoke it in the wintertime. And he said, "How much is it?" I said, "Nothing. I got lots." I always gave fish away.
Yeah.
People would come up here and they'd bring it to people that needed it. And so anyway, I said, "Have it." No, and I was shutting the door and he shoved some money in my pocket. And he walked away, and then I heard screech, screech, screech. There's the fisheries, the police, 2 police cars, and two fishery cars, and a great big truck. And they came in there and they said, who did you buy the fish off? They said, him. And they took the money out of there and so they took all the, we said, where did you get the fish? They took all the fish out of the freezers, the smoked fish, the canned fish, everything.
Really?
And I told this guy that I got a lot. I was smoking about 300 or 400 fish in my smokehouse. And a big smokehouse, about big as this room.
Yeah.
And they went down there and they were taking me. Two policemen took me down there, and I pretended I didn't know the combination. I went home and I said, I got to get the combination of the drawer. I took the drawer out and jawed my mom. I said, the police are here. Grab the thing and hanged up. And that took me down to the smokehouse again, and my mom was screeching in there. Get this! She says, you must swearing and yelling, and then they were all running out of there.
Yeah.
And this fishery officer, a couple of days later, came to my place. He was crying, tears coming out of his eyes. He was saying, I was so disappointed with what took place again. But and he said, I quit being a fishery officer. But it wasn't only the fish they took. I used to go skiing with my family, and they took all the skis and ski boots and everything.
Well, they related all of that to like
The sales of
That-
the sales of fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So they were taking items that he had purchased with his real money,
Yeah.
doing family things
Yeah.
at a totally different time of the year than when he'd be even getting fish ready.
What you needed in those days was a good lawyer. Sure, you needed a good lawyer.
Yeah.
There weren't many.
No, there weren't many. Not all.
Not for brown people.
Not well, and the local.
So anyway, when they were taking my skis out, I phoned Joe. It was who? Bam, yeah.
Joe Van Bergen.
I phoned him. I said, the police are here taking my skis away. The police grabbed the phone and I said, here, you talk to him. And he talked to him. He said, those skis are so expensive. You know, he bought those skis off me, and they weren't stolen. And this policeman was telling me somebody stole skis from the ski lodge, and that's
where there's.
Yeah.
And Joe helped you out?
Yeah.
Good.
No, it's,
Wow.
yeah, no. For a while there, like I said, Tom was a target.
Oh yeah.
Number one target. They followed him. They followed him here. They followed him there. They watched him from shore fishing and stuff. It was a sad time.
Well, what,
you know,
I mean, that's
you know,
awful.
And yet one seine boat would creek rob the mouth of the Ament River, and they couldn't catch him. You know, I'd take 1,000 fish. You know, it happened all the time. But you know,
I was fishing one day and I got a whole bunch and I said, I went up to the dam to fish and I told my uncle, Huey, I said, you know, I was going to make a set, but there's a fisheries officer on the other side. He said, no, he said, it's okay. He said, well, he told me that before. And so I made a set and I got about 300 or 400 fish, and the fishers came along and took all the fish. So I went and told my uncle again. They took the fish. Well, go fish again. But that's, you know, I didn't care. Yeah, like it was, we weren't like when we did catch fish, they put markers on there or cut the tail off or something. Yeah.
What would they have done with the fish?
You know, I'm not even sure. I'm not sure. A lot of stuff gets destroyed. It doesn't get handled well.
Oh, man.
You know, it deteriorates. They don't go and put it. They don't freeze it and look after it.
They don't give it to the home.
Yeah, no, don't give it to the homeless. Yeah, like they just at least. Oh,
No
man.
chickens.
No, it's
Throw it away.
yeah.
Put it. Oh,
But
man.
there was pretty sad times.
Then they make money on.
You know, I think things are substantially better.
Oh boy, 100% the last 10 or 15 years.
And we got into, you know, you can't manage what you can't measure. And when they came up with the economic opportunity fisheries or whatever you want to call them, and we started counting the fish, then you had a better handle on how many fish came back, how many jacks, how many 3-year-olds, how many 4-year-olds. All that stuff now gets counted.
Yeah.
You can better predict for next year and next
You can manage.
year. You know, other things, Tom. First of all, you collect a lot of native art.
Oh,
Okay, like an amazing.
I got so much.
But you're inspiring me to maybe bring out some of my. I have a box of what I call.
Are you a carver yourself, or you just like did you make some of this stuff, or?
No, I didn't know. Only if it's like when I built this house, it was just a shell. I put all the gyprock up myself, and I was a plumber for 10 years.
Yeah.
And and then like they put the sewer system in on the other reserve, and they came to my place and they said, "Can you be the foreman?" I said, "No, there's everybody on the reserve is unemployed. Let them work."
Yeah.
He said, "That's why I want to hire you."
Yeah.
But like my dad and I, we used to dig the ditch. We'd dig a ditch from here to the trees up there by hand,
Yeah.
and put the water blind in there.
Yeah.
But we were all, my dad and I were always doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physically doing something. That's fast.
So you were born here, Tom? You were born in Alberni Valley? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, February the 2nd I was born, and in that time when the bottom of people came to see me, and I was I was born in my grandmother's place, and my uncle came over in a canoe because it was flooded there.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So longshoring. Your years longshoring. Now, there's a lot of characters.
I never drank, smoked, or did anything like that.
Yeah.
They did bite me. I went to a place and they wanted me to do some smoking, to get some drugs, and I wouldn't take it. And I'd walk out of there.
Yeah.
But that, it was, we had so many really, really good athletes. Like, when I left when I went to, left the school and went to Glenwood Center for grade 7.
Yeah.
The first year I was here, I won the athlete of the year. The second year I won the athlete of the year. Then I went to the high school and I won the athlete of the year. And the third year I got up and I was walking down the aisle, and they gave it to Popovich was our PE teacher.
Yeah.
And he gave it to I forget the guy's name, and he used to never good drinking.
So you played with the athletics, and all the way across Canada.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Alberni Athletics basketball. Was Bill Pitcher on your team at any time? The policeman.
Yeah. He was karate or no.
Right. Yeah. Something or other. He
Yeah.
do handstands.
Really good players.
Yeah. This town had we have hockey in Labatt's Blues that were BC champs, and then we had the Alberni Athletics were Canadian champions. All the way across Canada.
Wow.
So yeah, and then ball, and then baseball. So is there anything you didn't do? And you snow skied?
I went skiing one day and I fell down. I couldn't get up. I said, "That's it. I'm not skiing anymore."
Yeah. So
When I used to like skiing, we skied all over BC.
Yeah.
And I traveled all over the world. I used to.
You skied well into your 70s. Well into your 70s, you were still skiing.
But I used to go to Italy. These Italians came over and they wanted someplace to stay, so they went to the band office and they phoned Tom. So I said, "Sure." There was 3 of them. All you could stay here. So I took him down to a house and all these reserves down there. I thought they were hippies because they wanted to go up to up north around Williams Lake, all those reserves there. I took him there, and then I paid for the meals, and I took him to the airport, and they said, I said, "I'll pay," and they said, "No," and I said, "It was only sandwich." They paid for that's it.
that was it.
So the next year they sent me, I think it was like $1,000 or something, and they gave me a free ticket to Italy to go there and teach people in the schools about our history. So we went there with Leonard George. Dan George was his father, and we went there. And he was always long haired, costumes and everything, and really, really good talents. Singer, dancer. He just everywhere he went, everybody used to follow him. Yeah, we went there for 4 years, and then we could. But they were paying us $5,000 just to go there. They'd buy us everything.
Wow.
I thought they were hippies, but they own factories. They had about 4 big factories. Like girls, the babies and the men's and the women's factories.
Yeah.
They had farms and everything else.
Yeah. So
computer goes.
So Dakota, your grandpa, what do you know about him? What What
Oh, you know everything.
what legends have you heard? What sticks out in your mind?
Story.
Okay,
What you're proud of,
but as it, yeah.
Dakota, I know all about her. She lives with yeah, she was the best basketball player. She was best, whatever she did. You got all A's. I should give her some money.
Comes in her gene.
Tell them about where you moved from.
Oh, you're from Zulu. Oh yeah. I used to live in Seatbelt on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful there. Yeah.
Yeah, for like 4 years, and I was a pet nutritionist through Pet Value there. And yeah, and like that's the furthest I've ever been from my family. And I was like the furthest, it was too far. So I decided to just move right back across the water, right into town. Like I'd never lived in Port Alberni. I've always lived in Parksville my whole life. And then I moved over there and I met my husband and we moved back here and I just I love Port. I love Port.
It's something, Port's been maligned, and I guess in the days of the pulp mill stink and the fly ash and whatever, we had a reputation.
There was a time.
Yeah, there was a time that people didn't want to be.
My mom moved away at that point.
Yeah. And people did. I lived at Spur Lake all my life, so not quite as affected, but
Yeah.
but I was at Spur Lake when all the logging was done. We talked about this earlier, that Mike Hamilton logged this entire property here, and all of the Sushot Reserve at one point, and it was just a clear cut.
Mhm.
And I grew up as just Christmas trees, and sure, it's come back beautifully and that since then. But I, living here all your life, a lot of changes,
They lost the monkey tree.
and some for the good.
Yeah.
Some for the good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they were, like, right now, it's really, really good. We got okay to build that hall now.
Yeah.
The new basketball.
Oh, wow, that's good. Yeah.
It's now we were talking about that with Tom McAvey. Bill introduced Tom's. He's our sixth interviewee, and three of them have been Tom. So we're deciding that Tom's a really good name for, community icons, because it was, Tom Hertel, Tom McAvey, and Tom Watts. So
Yeah.
I don't think we have any more Toms on the list. But
Well, they must have a middle name, Tom. I mean, all these are
we'll find
people.
people.
Yeah.
They were born in Port. So.
There you go.
Yeah, like my family, like Dakota, I used to give her money for marks. When she was about 11 or 12 years old, she had $2,200 in the bank.
Oh, forget me.
I used to get her $1 per push-up. And she used to do about,
It's interesting too, right?
I used to give her, at the end, she could start doing about 50, so I quit.
So
Yeah.
Like Wally's daughter, Lauren.
Yeah.
She graduated from UCLA.
wow.
Yeah, she was the smartest person in the States. Every year when people graduate from school, they pick out the smallest, and she had 7, 8 pluses, and she got the award.
Wow, it's something so something really good in the gene pool.
Obviously, yeah.
I've watched gene pools.
That's great. Yeah. So should we wrap her up here, Bob?
Well, we will. You could most likely talk to Tom and Dakota forever and ever, because their stories just sort of.
I like your idea, Dakota, about talking to others too.
Yeah,
I think that's really good.
we'll collect some names and potential.
That's what we're trying to do.
Sure, we'll see if they're interested.
You want stories, right?
Bill and I aren't professionals at this, but we think the stories are worth keeping. And even if we don't do that good a job, I think the job you
It's
did
the story.
Your stories were great. So,
Yeah.
so thank you, Dakota, for coming, and thanks, Tom. And it's been an absolute pleasure. I've known you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Dakota. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And so that's that. Remember, we are Consequential Conversations. You can find us online, YouTube, Spotify. And this one here with Tom and Dakota will be up probably sometime in February. But stay tuned. And thanks again for joining us. Bob?
Yeah, and only if I bring out the forms that I was supposed to have them signed before.
Recorded.
But we'll